So, okay, let's start. I'm gonna share. Let me just go over.
I'll jump out. If you need help, let me know.
Yep.
Okay.
Share the screen. Let's look at the agenda. Okay, just a quick the agenda for today. We're gonna just talk about a little bit about the background, why we are doing this, and we'll go over directly into the system to look at the navigator, what's the new user interface for TAMS, its elements, basically the alerts, workspaces, and widgets. All of you will have two workspaces now in the navigator. So basically it's my information workspace, which is your personal data. So your time card, how to approve it, and also what my calendar, how to request personal time off. That's my information workspace. All employees at the region have that my information workspace, the personal one, and all managers or employees that have access also to see others' information in TAMS will have a manager workspace, which is a manager license in TAMS. So on the manager license, on the manager workspace, we're going to look just what changed on the timekeeping area, the time cards, and also the request, the schedule planner, and how to handle or administer time off requests with the new request manager widget. So that's in a nutshell. And we'll go take a quick look of the implementation plan for you, paramedic services, to just go over what is coming. So I'm gonna just quickly, let's take a look the background. On the background, basically our current TAMS release basically is out of support by December 2020, and we also, need to take advantage of technology and functional enhancements. The new release of TAMS is configured now to not require Java and Flash, and basically that's a kind of a major thing for us at the end of the year because we're not sure what's going to happen on January. So definitely that's the push, that's the rush to get the TAMS upgraded before January 1st when Flash definitely is over, and we don't know what is what the effects of that will be on our system after January 1st. So after the upgrade, you will be able to use TAMS with any browser, Chrome, Edge, any browser, basically. Also, potentially employees will be able to log into TAMS from the internet without using VPN or terminal server. Most likely, we'll have this on the app on the go live date, but or soon after. So that's a kind of a good thing for accessing remotely TAMS without too many logins and stuff. Implement the bug fixes as well. In essence, the core functionality of TAMS is not changing. So whatever you're currently doing in TAMS, basically you should be able to do it in the new TAMS. There is no additional stuff that you need to do. It's just finding the spot where to do certain pieces. But so at the end, its functionality overall is not affected. It's just the layout of the screen, how to navigate and find the stuff. Definitely, especially for paramedic services and Sunnyside. The advanced scheduler users, you're currently using the classic view, so it's kind of a bigger jump from classic view to the TAMS 8 that the rest of the region, which is police services, which is already using the navigator. Although there are some changes still, but for you guys, it's a little bit of more adaptation on that process. So that's what the intention of going over this training. So for you to start familiarizing with it before they go live. The implementation plan, basically what we're doing is the schedulers. We already started training with them. They're testing the system. They started last week, so I'm working with Gary, Magda, and Ashley. They're looking at that stuff, so they already started familiarizing with the new layout, the new system. We have these orientations session this week. We're also doing Bocantas testing. Bocantas is not going to be affected, so Bocantas, when you're logging into Bocantas, we'll see it exactly the same. So that's not a problem. We're just testing the connection with the new servers, the new environment. From next week, from November 23rd to November 27th, we will have a sandbox available for everyone to try the new system and familiarize with it. So you will be able to log in into that system with your current credentials to get used to how the look and feel for the new TAMs. We'll have that available for 1 week. We have already the online orientation, a 15 minutes orientation course for paramedics and fleet staff is already available in our LMS. So they should, if they feel like they need it, they should take it. It's a quick overview of what we're going to do as well today. We will have job aids for managers and staff on the TAMS portal page. You will see that coming soon. And definitely the go live is December 3rd at 5 a.m. TAMS will be offline from December 2nd at 6:45 p.m. So it's basically the upgrade will happen overnight. So we'll take that's what is coming. Let me then stop sharing the agenda. I'm going to jump to the application so we start the session. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so the login screen basically is going to be the same. Let me just open the full screen. So I'm going to log in just a test user for you. So as soon as we log in, basically this is what this navigator look like. At the top of the screen, it will be what we call it the alerts area, where notifications will be managed, will pop up. Currently, we have these three type of notifications there. Time off. This is the time off request alert. This is the exceptions alert, and this is just regular notifications for messages that come from time to time into the system to alert. Just a way of communication with all users. We'll look at in more detail a little bit of those two later on the session. So we'll just hand on. We'll see it later. The other area we see is the workspace. So this is the workspace. This is all managers will land initially on the manager workspace. So you see at the top the workspace. Each workspace has two basic components. Each workspace has two basic components: a main widget or window on the center always, and on the right side, just what we call the related items column, with all the other options that you have access to will be there. So the main widget, you can also increase or maximize the window using the square icon at the upper right corner to gain more space on the screen, on the widget, on the window. You can also collapse the related items column on the right. So those are the main components. This is the manager workspace. So if you want to look your My Information workspace, you will need to call it from here with this plus sign, which says Add Workspace. So you see there, My Information. So now we are entering on we call the My Information workspace, which again, same thing, will have a main widget and then the related items column, all the options related to the workspace that you are into at that point. In this point, we'll look at the end of the session. We'll look a little bit about My Information, how you manage some of the options, especially create time out, submit time off request, etc. To close the workspace, just the X beside the name of the workspace. So you always have those two workspaces available all the time. And let's close My Information. So this is let's go back to the manager workspace. You will always, as soon as you log in, you will always land on what we call the timekeeping genies. This is the widget or the option to handle everything that relates to timekeeping and time cards in the system. Before, on current TAMs, you have other options. If you remember, reconcile time card, quick find, pay period close, and other type of genies. Everything now is controlled from this drop down. Most of the time, I think you will be using the reconcile time card if in general. But if you need to find an employee, for instance, you will definitely use the quick find to find a specific employee if you wanna look at it, and then type the same information to find specific employees, or where the names of starting with the last name. If we want to go back to the reconcile time card, we just from the drop down, you just call back the reconcile time card genie. We have the current pay period, the time period drop down to select which period you want to look like when you want to look. Or if you want to select a specific or a custom pay period, just use the select dates icon there and then select the period that you're looking for, that you need to. And here as well, the hyperfines, the list of employees that you want to take a look. Let's just look at this quickly there. We are in the test system, so it's kind of a little bit could be a little bit slow, but we'll manage there. When you are in this reconcile time card, you have the option to group. There's grouping options now to group the information that is displayed group by column. In the same, you can sort the list, but whoever ascending or descending there. That's something I think it's a little bit new with the grouping is something new in this release. If you want to open a time card for one specific employee and look, work on the employee's time card, if you double click on the employee and the employee name, it will open directly the time card, same as now currently. But if you need to look multiple time cards, if you highlight it using the shift or the control key, you cannot double click there. You need to use the go to option to say go to time cards, and then you will open all the time cards that you need to work with directly like that. So that's I think it's a little bit of adjustment on that from current version. Now you can select from the drop down which employee you're looking for, or scroll up, scroll to the right, scroll to the left to look different employees. And also you also have the option to change the pay period, the time period here on the time card. And this, again, you have access to all the hyperfines that we had before. So this is the time card widget. So very related to what with the timekeeping genies widget. Let's look at the time card for employees now. One difference that we have with current temps is that the schedules are now on the time card. Before, I think in current version, you see, I think it's at the bottom on the totals tab or something. So now it's just all beside on the same time card. You have the same cues, some graphic cues to identify exceptions on the time card. For instance, these are punch exceptions, early in, etc. When you hover over, you will see the message indicating what the exception is. Also, you have a cue that says the punch was edited. One difference that we have with current version of TAMS is the approval of overtime. You see the icon out there on the right on the date. It will cue that there is an overtime pending to be approved. You right-click on it, and then that's what the approve overtime will be. So, and the screen to approve overtime is the same as current one. You select approve all the overtime, or just exactly the same, the amount of time that you need to approve. You can add comments there. So, so remember, is the right click to address the overtime. Same with if you want to add comments, you right click on the punch, and then you right click on the punch and add comments. You can add comments and select the comment, or just add notes as well. So now, and as soon as you make any change in the punches or information on the time card, automatically the save button will become orange, and then you can save it there. We have an option there, calculate totals. It's good to use it. Calculate totals, what it does is estimate or generates the information of what the time card will look like without saving yet. So you can, do some change, especially like a work rule or something, and then you do calculate total, see how it's going to look like, and before you save it. If that doesn't kind of you don't like what you see on the after making the change, you can do the refresh. So don't save it. So between save, refresh, and calculate totals, it allows you to kind of take a look in for stuff before it's saved. So that's on the to do transfers to a work rule. I don't know if you do those transfers there. Again, from here, drop down, use the search to do the transfer to a job or to a work rule. That's the way to assign work rules. If you do assign work rules on the time cards, we'll look all this stuff also when we go to the schedules. There's a way to do it there as well. So this is directly on the time card. To approve a time card, basically it's I don't know if you do approvals of the time card, but it will be the button here to approve time cards in this case. This is the approval. On the bottom tabs are basically mostly are the same as currently. The only thing is that you can manage increase the size of the tabs, the supporting tabs. Totals, I think we have something similar. You can total the whole time card or daily totals, have daily totals, and this is the drop down to how you want to group the information. So in this case, we are grouping, totalizing all the time card info, all the pay period, all the period that we're looking at the time card, totalize it by pay code. So sometime one trick, if you want to kind of a quick report of what the employee has accumulated in some period, you extend the period. Let's say look for 1 month, and then use the totals to calculate it to report how much totals the employee has accumulated on that time frame that was selected there. So it's a quick way to do a total, a summarized report for an employee. Yeah, okay. Sorry, I forgot to save it. So this is the comment queue. So you will see as soon as you hover over the comment, you will display what the comment and what the notes were. If you want to delete a note or a comment, you can just click again on it, right click on it. Comments, you can remove the comment just with the X beside the note or the comment, and that's how you can also add notes over. So if you can add more notes over a note that is already there, you can add more notes, and once you have that, then you save it. So that's let's continue with the tabs. The accrual tabs is the same information as you currently see in the accrual tabs in TAMS. The only difference is that you don't have the date as of. You will need basically all the accruals and balances shown displayed below are at the referring to the date selected at the top in the time card. So in this case, if I click October 29, the balance is as of October 29. So that's how the system now works. You have to select the date at the time card, and then we'll look the balances as of that date. The audits is the same as almost similar to what we have now. We have two drop downs to select what type of audits you want to look at it, and then the comments tab, all the comments that have been placed in the time card, and historical corrections, any correction that has been done after the payroll is closed, then it's very similar to currently. So that in a nutshell is what you will see in the time card. Also, this is the same. This applies also to your personal time card. So whatever I show you here for the employee's time card also will apply when you look at your own time card. So just keep in mind that it will be the same. So we'll skip quickly on that when we look at the my time card, the personal one. Yes.
So guys, just a question. I just noticed that the shifts don't have like the shift code, like an N2A and stuff like that. Is that just because this is the test environment?
No, it's on the time. You will see those. I think you see those on the schedule, not necessarily.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we'll see it there, and then when we go to the planner, you will see those there exactly.
Okay. Fair.
Okay. So yeah, so that's kind of a basic what the timekeeping part looks like in the new environment. You have here some column selection, if probably not very useful. Just select which column you want to see in the screen. Yeah, that's basically it. I think you can also call directly the employee, do some check on some personal information there on the employee. So you go to the people tab or the people information for the employee. So that's there. So let's quickly go to the planner that you look a lot more. You do a lot more stuff on the planner. So let's open the planner. As soon as you open an option, any option. Sorry, probably forgot to mention that on when you need to call any of the options that are on the related items panel or column, you just click on it and it will pop up as a separate tab. So in this case, the schedule planner, it will come as a separate tab. Then you can also go back to the timekeeping there. So this is our schedule grid, schedule planner. In a layout, it looks very similar to what we currently have in TAMS. It's just that the options, some of the options that are now icons instead of drop downs. So we have the period, the times period, the time period, previous pay period, current pay period, and you have the select date icon there, and the locations drop down. Okay. Right now, in new tabs, the locations are now at the top, so it's kind of easier, a little bit easier to manage the locations, and the hyperfines are at the bottom. You usually, for managing advanced scheduling at your schedule, you need to select your allocation there. So this is the schedule planner. At the top, you will always find the open shifts collapse. So if you open there, you will see all the open shifts that are available. The schedule planner will open in the whole period, which is 2 weeks period. So that's what we have, 2 weeks at the top. The orange Q will always mark what is current. So this is our current week, and this is our current day. But by default, it opens like that. But if you just want to work on 2 or 3 days, instead of seeing all the 17 days there, you click on one. Let's see, you want to work only on Wednesday, Tuesday, Friday. You click on Wednesday, hover over until Friday, and then let it go, and then you will now have only looking at 3 days, 3 simultaneously. If you want to go back to the original, then just click at the first row, and then you will clean it up, and then go back to the original view. This is what we call it, the tabular view. If you want to, we have another type of view, which is the Gantt view. One key thing to you to remember: if you want to look at the availability of the employees, you need to be on the Gantt view. Okay, the tabular view won't show the availability on the employees. So that's one key thing to remember. If you need to look at the availability, you need the Gantt view. Here we have a visibility filter where you control how you want to display the information on it. So that's what if you want just the shift time instead, then you can click shift time. Right now, by default, is the shift label. Right now, it's in intervals of 4 hours. If you want just daily, then you select it on it. You see all the options below. You can also hide the open shifts, not display the availability, etc. As soon as you make all your selection there, just click outside, and then you will, the changes will take effect, right? If you want to do change or any of the shift, like replacing it by a pay code, you right-click on the shift, and you can add a pay code. So let's quickly take a look at the edits. It's basically the same. You can modify the start time or end time, do a job transfer from here, or do a work rule transfer as well. For some reason, I'm not having. I have to look the access, but yeah. So, but this is how you, if you need to do a job transfer from here or a work rule transfer from here, then you will do it through the edit. So right click on the shift, and that's how you edit. If you add a pay code, then you select the pay code, in this case, vacation. Usually all these search boxes, you can start typing the information, what you're looking for, and then the system will start narrowing down the list. I think if you do, let me try that. Yeah. So the search works on as a start with or contains. So if you want to, look, if you don't know how for instance, if they're looking for a pay code that really you don't exactly know, you can, look for some letters in the middle, and then you can find the pay code there. But for the most part, I think you can do that. And then in this case, override the shift, create open shift is kind of the same what you currently have, and do the rest of the information, add comments. That's same to current. And this is to edit a shift. If you want to add a shift in an empty cell, just right click on the empty cell. Now the list is add a shift. So you can add a shift or insert a shift template or add a pay code, right? You can also have the availability override on this option when you right click. And it's similar to what you have now, availability override. And you do that on the, select this. Basically the same, almost the same form that you currently have to select, highlight the time for the availability, and then mark if it's unavailable or available. Okay. Or how many days this is, if you want to override the availability. But we know this information is coming from the availability e-form, electronic form. So we only change it in case it's extremely necessary. Okay. So that's on the edits. I'm not sure. We have, let me see in the top, visibility filter, column selections. We have a quick actions. I'm not sure if you needed to use it. Basically, quick action is if you have a very repetitive type of updates to do into the system, you can use this. It's a quick click. Let's say you need to unassign shifts, multiple shifts for whatever reason. Then you click on the assign, and then every click that you do on any shift will be created an open shift, right? So it's a quick way to do an assignment, or quick way to do assign open shifts, or quick way to do a swaps. Like if you have multiple swaps to do into the system, you click on the swap, right? And then the first click is the first shift, and the second click you swap those two. Every two get swapped. So in that way, it's kind of to do the same repetitive stuff quicker. You just follow the instructions at the top. It will tell you what to do in the next click. Right? Every time that you activate a quick action, it will be highlighted at the top with a bar, meaning that this action is activated, and then everything that you do, clicks that you do now, correspond to that type of action. To cancel it, just click on the same again or save, and that concludes the quick action task there. You can do shift transfers. If you want to quickly shift transfer a lot of shifts to a same location, then you select the location, and then every click that you do will be transferred to that job location. It's just available. Not sure if you will, if you use it, if you will ever need to. If you will save your time. One difference is with current TAMs is the view comments. Comments are at the bottom. The summary of the comments are at the bottom. So in current TAMs, it's an icon. So it lists all the comments that we have put it into this period for this employee list. At the bottom, and I mean, if we're not using Vocantas, the call list, and I don't know if you recall to use the call list. The call list now it's on the staffing assistant. So, but now we are doing this through Vocantas. But if we needed to use it from TAMS, this is the way to generate the call list from TAMS, is using the staffing assistant. You select the OpenShift, they select the location, and this is the procedure set, and then they load, and then you will, once you have the list, you can assign the OpenShift there. Obviously, we're using Vocantus now, so not necessarily we're gonna permanently use it, but this is the way to the all call list that we currently have in TAMS. Okay. So that's and columns again have ways to sort it. We're using, from here you can expand this stuff. The rule violations, what we currently have, the same as current TAMS. I think, yeah, probably. I don't know if you have any questions regarding the schedule plan, anything that you particularly do that you want to take a look. It's always, yeah, it's before the options are kind of the top right. I think with current TAMS also the right click works, so probably just that. So you manage everything with the right click directly there. So okay, yeah. Any questions for this part of the planner? Okay, so let's close. We just, once you open a widget or a window, just close it with the X. That's with the X beside it, and go back to the main one. One option that you have also, you can have two widgets open at the same time. I'm not sure if it's be worth it, but if, let's see, for instance, you want the schedule planner beside the timekeeping genie, you just drop and drop, and then you have both screens open at the same time. To close any of them, you use this wheel settings to close. You always have to have one open, so once you close one, the other one will take the whole space. So, but you can definitely, it's an option to have two widgets open simultaneously. Okay. Let's take a quick look. I think every reports is the same. The reports hasn't changed anything. So if you open reports, open a separate tab, but it's the same structure as currently. If you're running reports from TAMS, it's the same widget, same stuff as now. We'll already look. The inbox is the same. There's not much use now. It's only for the messages that you receive, but it still is there. At one point, this is going to be going out of TAMS, but it still is there. The setup, I don't know if you use the setup, but the setup is still the same. So the only thing that has kind of also a big some change is that the approval of time off request. Before, you had to approve a time off request was from the schedule planner. You have a request tab. Now you saw that it's not there. We use now the request manager widget. There is two ways to access the time off request that you need to approve, or to even to look history of the time off request. One is from the alert. As you see there, there's an alert saying, well, we have 21 type of requests. So you have time off, 9 time off, and 12 shift swap. Once you click on it, then you call the request manager, and then we'll open with those 9 time off requests to be approved to look at it. So that's one way to call the request manager to act on the alerts that has been generated. One key thing to remember is that the alerts, I'm not sure if it will affect you, but yeah, the alerts only shows 5 months request that is 5 months into the future. So if you need to approve a request that is 5 months ahead over, you need to open directly the request manager in the second way that I'm going to just show you. It's a limitation of the system due to performance that in order to keep the not reading too much data ahead. So that's a limitation there. But as soon as it's kind of a rolling window, right? So tomorrow it will go 5 months, one more day, et cetera, et cetera. So that it's always looking. The alerts will always look 21. In this case, will show 21 requests that are pending to be approved from now until 5 months in advance, right? Okay. So once you open the request, yes.
Yeah, so is that current plus 4 months or current plus 5 months?
Current plus 150 days, exact from today, 150 days exactly. Yes. Yeah. But it's to show the alert. It doesn't mean that you can. I mean, if you, I'll show you later. Just you adjust the time frame, and then now you can see it to approve it. But it doesn't come as an alert. It's just that. It's just that doesn't come as an alert. Sometimes people, say, "Well, I received this request, and it's for," and I don't see it as an alert. But it is there. It's just that it doesn't show as an alert. So you have to manually say, "Well, I need to look for that particular request," and then you open the time frame. As you see by default, it's looking as soon as we open the request manager from the alert, you see that it's open between October 20th up to April 17th. So April 17th is exactly 5 months from here. So it's looking 1 month ahead, 1 month back, 5 months ahead. So basically what you do then, if the request that you received was for May 2021, you just adjust the time frame there to look beyond that day, and then the time off request will appear on the list. So that's a key thing to remember at times when those requests comes. As when you click it off from the time off request alert, you see that it's already open in the type, so you can choose between types of alerts. In this case, time off. And by default, because I'm looking to approve time off request, it only opens certain status. But if I want to look, what other request has been approved, canceled, etc., then I can click on any of the other requests. But when I click from the alerts, it will just by default put it there, so I can quickly, go ahead, select the employee or the request, and I can look at the details, and this will allow me to look the balances of what the employee has on the accruals, at what date, and you can also sort the list by any of the dates. You can also group. If you click on here, here, you can group by this column. So if you have multiple requests for each employee or from different pay codes, you can group the information, so you can manage the information on the screen in several ways to organize what you need to approve the request. So basically, once you select the request and you want to approve it, just approve, and that's it. Will be approved. The edit, disregard the edit. We're not able to edit the requests. You can refuse it, or pending. Basically, it's just I open it, just review it, just pending for the decision to look it over, or retract it. If the request hasn't been approved yet, you can retract it. It's basically the employee changed their mind, so it just to cancel the request. Not the if the request is already approved, then you can cancel the request if that's allowed, right? So, but then that's how the time off request, the request manager works. You also have ways to select the list of employees that you want to look at it. But by default, when you are clicking from the alerts, it just opens the alerts, the ones that are that are kind of that you need to act on it. And that's kind of the purpose of the alerts, the notification at the top. It's just what you need to act on it. So that's one way to access the request manager. The other way is just directly open it from the related items column. And then in that case, you have to define, basically it's open kind of a free form. And then you select what type of request you're looking for, and what statuses you're looking for. In this case, by default, opens everything. And by default, it opens the current scheduled period. So basically all the requests that are for this pay period. And you see it's all the statuses. If I have one approved, then you can you cannot you cannot cancel the request in the for paramedics. And you can also see the details. It's basically the same. So yeah, so that's then if you if you see one that is submitted, if you click in one that is submitted, then that's what you can approve. If you look one that is approved, then basically the options are just yeah, retracted only or cancel, I think. So that's how the request manager works. I don't know if you have questions on that one, on how to manage the request. So that's yeah, the request manager. Let's take a quick look at how you request time off in your personal area, personal workspace. My information, as I mentioned, the time card is the same as if you're dealing with the time card for an employee. It's the same as yourself. It's exactly all the same options. To request time off, you can do it between the two. There's two options to request time off. My request, which is the same as basically the same as all staff, all employees has, paramedics and any staff. Let's take a look at my calendar. If you click on my calendar, it will show your schedules, the calendar, and here you at the top you see the date label to display what information is being put into the calendar. Right now I'm looking like the current pay period. If I want to look, for instance, a month, just select the dates and click on it, 28, let's see, a month. Then now if you go back to the date label, then you can scroll to the left to the right with my calendar. You have three ways to look the calendar: monthly, daily, or weekly. There is a Q indicator, obviously, that mark which is what's current date. If I look at the month, then this is the layout for the month. Visibility filter to hide or show what you want to display on your calendar, and this is the request time off. So then it's very simple, same as no, for you it's a little bit different. A little different on your request. The current request is just the form. You have this option, the start date or end date. You select using the calendar, select the start time and end time. The pay code that you're selecting for the time unit. You have the option for full day, first half day, second half day, or the hours. If you select hours, you need to define the start time and how many hours you're taking. So you have all the options, partial day off and full time off from the same request. You can also check your accruals as of this date and add notes if you, sorry. Let's go back. Thank you. Yeah, the first row of the calendar, the first row of your calendar shows the status of the request that you have submitted or you have approved. If you hover over, you will see the status of the request. Okay. In this case, the request already been approved, so you see that the status. If it's submitted, it will say submitted. If you right-click on the request, you can have the option to see the details of the request, what happened with the request, when it was submitted, etc., when it was approved. To cancel the request, you use from the same thing, right-click and you cancel the request. If it's already approved, you can cancel. If it hasn't been approved, you can retract it from here. So this is how you do the cancellation instead of the other. I think we had a separate form for that. Automatically, as soon as you cancel the request and it's approved, your schedule is restored into the system. So it saves some time on the process. One quick thing to remember is that if you cancel a request, wait until it's approved before you submit another request that include the same date that has been canceled already. Sometimes people submit the cancellation and then the other request, and then the other request gets approved first. So the system doesn't have any schedule so to approve the other request. So it's always better to just wait for the cancellation to be approved first before submitting anything that relates to those dates that are being canceled, included in the original request. You can select multiple days and you can include 2 weeks. Usually it's recommended, obviously, that you send 1 week at a time, just easier to cancel. But if you select 2 weeks, it's not a problem for the week. The system doesn't include holidays or weekends, so it is fine to submit it, no problem there. It's just that when you cancel a request, you cannot cancel a midday of the request. So, for instance, if you request this full week and you want to cancel the Wednesday later, you have to, cancel the whole thing and then resubmit separately. So there is no way to cancel a middle day. So you have to. So that's why, if you're thinking that some of the time that you're requesting could be canceled, create separate requests for each block of time that can be managed easier later. So that in a nutshell is what your calendar. If you want to, you can also use my request. It's the same, basically it's just different way to display the calendar, but you have the same option. um, there is some good thing on my request is that you can see all your requests that are active all together. So if you scroll down, you can see you can request. If you open there, the request, you have the same information that you put in the other one. You have your balances, the full day, first half day, hours, etc. The same thing. It's just that, as you see, as soon as you create a request, it will show here on my current active request. Let me see why I'm not showing on seeing today current day current. Oh yes, because let me see if I can. Yeah, okay. It was the period. And you see now I have the same one that I was looking in my calendar. This is my request, and you can also cancel it from here. Select it and cancel the request. So sometimes some people prefer this way. Just you have all the list together instead of the calendar that you have to scroll up and down to find all the requests. And this way, you will find it all listed there. All the active. This list depends on what you had selected at the top. This period here, so that depends on what your requests have been listed. Whatever you do here, it will reflect on my calendar. Whatever you do in my calendar will reflect here. So it doesn't matter which one you use. It's just a matter of preference. So you will be okay with that. So that's on the rest of the stuff in my calendar. In my information is the same as you currently have. My reports, my work options, my links, everything is exactly the same as currently in 10. So there is no really change on that. So that's on my information area. So I think that's mostly what I have. Unless you have questions, anything um, that comes to mind that you'd like to know. I mean, again, we will have the system. You'll have the option to log into, starting Monday to take a look, get familiarized with it and see, if any question, obviously just let me know as well. So, but yeah, any question, guys? What else? Yeah, the sign out is, before just a quick, I don't know if you deal with exceptions, manage exceptions on the system, like missed punches or stuff. So those alerts are configured here as well. So it's just for ease. I mean, you can still do it the same way you're currently doing, like, uh, open the time card for the employee, and then you will look at the exception if it's missing punch or an overtime, whatever. You do it the same way, it's fine. This is just a quick way to do it with the alerts. So the system is telling me I have 3 alerts to deal with this in this current pay period. So if I click on it there, I have it categorized by extended shifts, missed punches, and unscheduled shifts. But definitely this is configurable. If at the end, if this is something that you wanted to look at, that you think will help manage the load, if you do take care of exceptions on the employees' time cards, we can explore more ways of classifying the exceptions. So in this case, you open we have 2 employees with these exceptions. If you click on it, it will open the exception list. It's just a summary here. It's a summary of all the exceptions that you have on the system. In this case, I open in 1 employee, but if I select all the staff, then it will list only the exception, only the staff that has exceptions in their time card on the current pay period. And if you double click on the employee or on the employees, it will just open into the exceptions only, not anything else. So it's kind of a quick way to just get into the task of, let's see, for instance, if I'm gonna just, look at well, I only have this guy with exception here. So this person has 2 exceptions, and then you just click on it, double click on it, and then you can go and look at the time card and fix what stuff that you need there. So that's it's just a quick way to a different way or quicker way to handle exceptions on the system, but definitely just an option. It's an alternative, I guess, to deal with those stuff. So okay, so that's I think, sorry, I think that's basically it. So if you have questions. Okay, I think we are done, and we'll have some, I'll edit our session today, and I'll also, put all some of the documentation that we currently have, the job aids that can help you, and if you have any questions, just also let me know. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Gus.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Gus.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thanks, Gus.
Okay. No problem. Thank you.